Hey, I'm Luisa Hart, and I need you to stop what you're doing right now, because what I'm about to share with you is going to completely change the way you look at your face. Literally. If you've been noticing that your face seems to be falling, drooping, sliding south like it forgot where it belongs, I have incredible news for you. We are turning that around today, not next week, not after some expensive procedure, today. And we're doing it with two shockingly simple exercises that nobody is talking about. Not your dermatologist, not your esthetician, nobody. So buckle up, because this is the kind of information that makes people say, "Why didn't anyone tell me this sooner?" Let me paint you a picture. You walk into the bathroom in the morning, the light hits your face at a certain angle, and suddenly, bam, you're staring at something in the mirror that does not feel like you. Maybe the shadows make your neck look like it belongs to someone 20 years older. Maybe you took a selfie last week and the lighting made everything look droopy, heavy, undefined. And your first instinct is to blame weight gain, right? But here's the thing, and this is so important. Most of the time, it has absolutely nothing to do with weight. It's something else entirely. Something that no serum, no cream, no $1,000 moisturizer is ever going to fix. And trust me, I know you've tried those. We all have. Those little jars of promises that sit on our bathroom shelves looking fancy and doing absolutely nothing for the actual problem underneath. So what is the actual problem? Let's get into it, because understanding this is going to blow your mind. Your face is not just skin stretched over muscle. If only it were that simple. Beneath that skin you have a layer of fascia, that's connective tissue, and beneath that you have bone. And here's the wild part that most people have absolutely no idea about. The bone structure of your face actually reshapes as you age. It changes, it shifts. And that contributes massively to that sagging, drooping, falling appearance that you're seeing in the mirror. Now the good news, and there is incredible good news here, is that we can slow that process down dramatically. We can work with what's underneath the skin to restructure, tighten, and lift. And in some cases, we can actually reverse some of the damage. Yes, I said reverse. Keep listening. Now here's something fascinating that Luisa Hart wants you to really absorb. Out of every single part of your body, your face ages the fastest. And there's a very specific, very interesting reason for that. Your face is an extraordinarily sensory organ. The concentration of hormone receptors in your face is unlike anywhere else in your body. And one of the biggest reasons for that? Emotions. Think about it. When you look at another person, where do you immediately look to read how they're feeling? Their face. Every single time. Your face is the billboard of your inner world. Every laugh, every frown, every moment of worry, every sleepless night, it all shows up there first. And this is where it gets really important. Those negative emotions, the stress, the anxiety, the anger, the grief, the fear, the days where everything feels like too much, they don't just affect your mood, they affect your face. Specifically, they trigger a hormone called cortisol. And cortisol? Cortisol is the enemy of a youthful, lifted, defined face. It is absolutely ruthless when it comes to facial aging. It breaks down the connective tissue. It messes with the muscles. It causes fat redistribution in the face, something actually called cortisol face, where certain areas puff up and others sag. And over time, as those stressful days and difficult emotions accumulate, especially as we get older, the damage compounds. It layers on top of itself. And suddenly, what you see in the mirror doesn't feel like you anymore. But here's what nobody tells you about cortisol. and this is a game changer. The stress that activates cortisol the most isn't physical stress, it's mental stress. Your brain running 1,000 miles an hour, worrying, overthinking, catastrophizing. That's what floods your system with cortisol. And the antidote? Movement. Physical movement, walking, exercise. When you pair that mental stress with physical activity, you literally burn off the excess cortisol that's building up in your body. So if you're having a stressful day and you feel it in your shoulders, your jaw, your whole body, get up and walk. That's not just advice for your mood, that's advice for your face. Now let's talk about the star of today's show. And no, it's not a supplement, it's not a cream. It's a muscle, a specific, fascinating, incredibly important muscle that most people have never heard of. It's called the platysma. Say it with me, platysma. Beautiful name for a muscle that, when neglected, creates what's commonly known as turkey neck. Not exactly the look we're going for. The platysma runs from your collarbone all the way up to your jawline, and when it loses tone, it loosens, it droops. It creates that saggy neck and jawline situation that can make you look years, even decades older than you are. Now here's the absolutely critical piece of information about the platysma that changes everything about how you should be exercising it. This muscle is made up almost entirely of fast-twitch muscle fibers. Fast twitch. These are lightning speed fibers, explosive fibers, fibers designed for rapid, powerful movements. They are not designed for long, slow, sustained stretches. So if you've ever done one of those gentle neck stretches, holding it for 30 seconds thinking you're helping, I'm sorry to break it to you, but that is not what this muscle needs. In fact, for the platysma, slow, sustained holds are basically useless. This muscle responds to speed, to impulse, to explosive movement, and that completely changes the exercise approach. Which brings us to the part you've been waiting for. Exercise number 1, and I'll be real with you, Luisa Hart style. This one is a little bit funny looking. You might not want to do it on the subway or in a meeting, but in the privacy of your own home, this exercise is an absolute powerhouse. What you're going to do is work the platysma with rapid, explosive impulse movements, about 10 to 15 quick pulses, then rest, then repeat. 3 sets. A few times a week. You're essentially firing that muscle underneath your chin in fast, dynamic bursts. Exactly what those fast twitch fibers are craving. And let me tell you what happens when you start doing this consistently. That muscle wakes up. It gets sore, actually genuinely sore, because it hasn't been worked like this, maybe ever. And as it strengthens, it tightens. Not just underneath the chin, the effects ripple through the entire jaw and neck area. The whole region starts to firm up, lift up, define itself. It is remarkable. People notice results in as little as 1 to 2 weeks when they're consistent. 1 to 2 weeks. Now let's move to exercise number 2, which targets the jaw muscles specifically. And this one is important for a reason that goes deeper than just aesthetics. Think about how our ancestors ate. Genuinely tough, fibrous, grass-fed meats that required serious chewing. Real chewing. The kind that actually works your jaw muscles and builds up the connective tissue, the ligaments, the fascia around your face over time. That kind of eating literally shaped the bone structure of earlier humans. Wider jaws, more defined faces, stronger facial architecture. Fast forward to today, we eat soft foods, processed foods, foods that require almost zero jaw effort. And the result? Our jaw muscles have gotten weak and underused. And that weakness shows up in our faces as loss of definition, sagging around the lower face, and a general loss of that sharp, structured look that a well-exercised jaw provides. So here's what you're going to do. Place your hand firmly under your chin, creating resistance. Then, working against that resistance, you're going to open your mouth. You're essentially reversing the natural flow of the jaw movement. Instead of the jaw dropping freely, you're making those muscles work against a force. This is incredibly effective for reactivating the muscles, ligaments, and tendons around your face. 10 reps, 3 times, with about a 30-second break between sets. Do this a few times a week alongside your platysma exercise, and you are building a facial fitness routine that most people don't even know exists. And then there's exercise number 3, because yes, we're going all in today. This one takes the jaw work even further by targeting a completely different set of muscles, specifically the muscles that pull your lower jaw forward. What you're going to do is jut your lower jaw out, forward, deliberately and controlled. From the side, you can really see this movement clearly. Again, 10 reps, 3 times, 30-second breaks. It looks simple. It is simple. But the cumulative effect of all 3 of these exercises working together is extraordinary. You're hitting the platysma from below. You're challenging the jaw muscles from multiple angles. You're stimulating the connective tissue, the fascia, the ligaments that give your face its underlying structure. You're doing, in 15 minutes of targeted exercise, what most people assume can only be achieved through injections or surgery. Here's the beautiful truth about all of this. Your facial muscles are just like any other muscle in your body. They respond to challenge. They respond to consistency. They grow stronger, firmer, more defined when you work them correctly. The problem is that nobody teaches us to exercise our faces. We spend hours in the gym working our arms, our legs, our core, and we completely ignore the most visible, most expressive, most emotionally significant part of our bodies. But not anymore, not you, not after today. So here's your homework from Luisa Hart. Start these 3 exercises this week. Be consistent. Do them several times a week. Give it 1 to 2 weeks. And then I want you to think about the mirror moment that made you click on this video. Because that mirror moment, it's going to look very different. The sagging is going to start tightening. The jawline is going to start defining. The neck is going to start lifting. And you're going to feel something even more powerful than just looking better. You're going to feel like you have real, genuine control over how you age. Because you do. You always did. You just needed the right information. And while you're building these incredible habits, remember, manage that cortisol. Move your body. Walk when you're stressed. Pair the mental load with physical release. Drink enough water. Support your skin from the inside out. Your face is telling the story of your life. Let's make sure it's telling the story you want it to tell. This is Luisa Hart, and I'll see you on the other side of the transformation. Even a single 120-gram portion at dinner can produce noticeable improvements in how your legs feel the following morning. Better balance, less stiffness, more power when rising from a chair. For seniors who want to stay active and independent, salmon is not just a healthy meal, it is a leg recovery strategy. Food number 6, quinoa. Quinoa is one of the most underrated foods for building muscle in older adults, especially for those who want stronger legs without relying entirely on animal protein. Here is what makes quinoa extraordinary. It is one of the only plant-based foods on Earth that contains all 9 essential amino acids. every single one. This is incredibly rare. Most plant proteins are incomplete. They are missing one or more of the amino acids your muscles need to grow and repair. Quinoa provides the full set, making it a complete protein source comparable in quality to meat and eggs. This matters enormously for leg strength. Your quadriceps, hamstrings, calves, and glutes all depend on a complete amino acid profile to rebuild after use. Without the full complement, muscle repair stalls, and you wake up feeling weaker than you should. But quinoa is more than protein. It also delivers iron, magnesium, potassium, and vitamin E, nutrients that regulate inflammation, support energy production, and improve circulation in the large muscle groups of your lower body. A study published in the Journal of the International Society of Sports Nutrition found that adults who replaced refined carbohydrates with quinoa reported better muscular endurance and less soreness after just one day of physical activity. A Brazilian study found that seniors who ate quinoa at dinner performed better on walking tests the next morning compared to those who ate white bread or white rice. This happens because quinoa digests slowly, keeping blood sugar and energy levels stable through the evening, which means your muscles are being fueled steadily overnight rather than crashing. And because quinoa is rich in magnesium, it actively helps prevent the nighttime muscle cramps and twitching that rob so many older adults of restful sleep. Before cooking, always rinse quinoa thoroughly to remove saponins, naturally bitter compounds on the surface. Then simmer it in water or low-sodium broth until fluffy. Add it to a breakfast bowl with eggs and spinach. Mix it with roasted vegetables. Serve it as a side dish in the evening. Within hours of eating it, the nutrients begin working, giving your legs more energy, better coordination, and more power for walking and climbing stairs. Quinoa is a simple, smart choice for older adults who want faster recovery and a stronger, more stable feeling on their feet. Food number 7, beets. Beets are far more than a colorful vegetable at the corner of your plate. In as little as a few hours, this circulation supercharger can transform how your leg muscles feel and perform. What makes beets so effective is their extraordinary natural nitrate content. When you eat beets, your body converts those nitrates into nitric oxide, the same compound we discussed with spinach. But beets contain it in even higher concentrations. Nitric oxide expands your blood vessels. It widens the arteries and capillaries that supply your leg muscles with oxygen and nutrients. For older adults, this is transformative because sluggish circulation is one of the primary reasons legs feel heavy, stiff, and weak. Poor circulation means your muscles are not getting enough oxygen. They are not getting enough of the nutrients they need to contract powerfully and recover quickly. When you restore healthy circulation, everything changes. Your muscles get what they need. They respond. They perform. In one study, seniors who drank beet juice before walking saw a 19% increase in walking speed and measurable improvements in leg muscle performance within just a few hours. A landmark study published in the Journal of Gerontology found that daily beet juice significantly lowered blood pressure and improved arterial flexibility in adults over 60. Another study in hypertension linked these changes directly to better lower body mobility and reduced leg fatigue. The participants were not subtle about the difference. When it came to walking and climbing stairs, they reported feeling more stable, less sore, and dramatically more energized. You do not need to eat beets raw to get the benefits. Steam them, roast them, or blend them into a smoothie. But for the fastest results, Choose 100% pure, unsweetened, undiluted beet juice. Drink a small glass first thing in the morning on an empty stomach, or about 30 minutes before any physical activity. The effects can arrive quickly, making your legs feel lighter, more responsive, and far less prone to fatigue. There is a reason professional athletes use beets before competition. It is a powerful, natural way for seniors to feel stronger and younger, fast. Food number 8, bone broth. Bone broth may be the single most complete recovery food for aging legs that exists. And it is not a trend. It is not a modern invention. It is one of the oldest healing foods in human history. And now science is finally explaining exactly why it works so powerfully. Bone broth is not just soup. It is a nutrient-dense liquid concentrated in collagen, gelatin, essential amino acids, electrolytes, and anti-inflammatory compounds that directly support and repair your muscles, joints, and connective tissues. Think about what happens to your legs as you age. The connective tissue around your knees, ankles, and hips becomes less elastic. Your joints lose their cushioning. The tendons and ligaments that hold everything in place become stiff and brittle. Your muscles take longer to recover after any kind of effort. This is why simple activities, getting up from a chair, walking to the mailbox, taking the stairs, can feel so much harder than they used to. Bone broth targets all of this. The collagen in bone broth provides the raw materials your connective tissues need to repair and rebuild. The amino acids glycine and proline reduce inflammation at the cellular level, support tissue healing, and improve joint mobility. Gelatin lubricates your joints, reducing friction and stiffness. Adults who drank collagen-rich bone broth reported notable improvements in leg function and reduction in pain within 24 hours, and a 36% increase in strength and flexibility after just 1 week of consistent use. Research published in the Journal of Clinical Nutrition and Metabolism found that glycine, one of the key amino acids found abundantly in bone broth, directly increased muscle regeneration and accelerated recovery after exercise in older adults. A Japanese study reported that glycine increased the recovery speed of leg muscles by more than 40% after just 1 day of use. The reason bone broth can work so quickly is elegant in its simplicity. The nutrients are already broken down into liquid form. Your body does not have to do much work to absorb them. They go in and immediately get to work, particularly effective after walking, physical therapy, or even light stretching. Many seniors report feeling less stiff, moving more fluidly, and walking with more confidence within just a few hours of drinking it. For best results, use homemade bone broth or a high-quality store-bought option made from pasture-raised chicken or grass-fed beef bones. To extract maximum nutrients, simmer the bones with apple cider vinegar, garlic, and herbs for at least 12 hours. Drink it hot in the morning or immediately after any activity. Even a single cup can deliver building blocks that your muscles and joints begin using almost immediately. Bone broth is not just comfort food for seniors with weak legs. It is fast-acting